Do you try everything for your child, yet they still melt down, struggle with focus, cling to screens, or constantly need help staying regulated? Ever wonder if you're missing something crucial in these early years? Most parents are never told this. For example, a 5-year-old in Japan may stay focused on one activity for almost 45 minutes, whereas a child in the US might struggle to remain still for even 5 minutes. In contrast, many parents in the US and other countries struggle to get their children to sit still for just 5 minutes, highlighting a sharp difference. So what happens during those first 5 years to create such differences in attention and self-control? And why is the American Academy of Pediatrics now openly acknowledging that many common parenting habits have pulled us away from what young brains actually need? A 2024 study from Tokyo Medical University found something remarkable. Children raised with 6 specific early life practices showed up to 40% stronger focus, memory, and problem-solving by age 7 than children raised in many other countries. But the most surprising part is yet to come. Japanese parents are not doing this with flashcards, not with expensive brain training programs, not with early academic pressure. They're doing it with simple daily habits, quiet habits, ordinary habits, habits that cost almost nothing, but habits that shape the brain every single day. Because the Japanese way is not really about pushing children ahead, it is about building the brain first. And when the brain is built well, learning comes faster, deeper, and with far less struggle later on. With that in mind, let's explore the 6 habits that quietly build strong brains in early childhood. 1. They prioritize deep face-to-face connection. Before children can learn well, their brains need to be wired for communication, attention, and emotional safety. And one of the most powerful ways to build that is incredibly simple: real face-to-face interaction. Not simply being near your child, not half listening while multitasking, not sitting beside them while distracted. Focus on real connection, eye contact, back and forth, presence. When a parent looks into a child's face, responds to their sounds, notices their expressions, and stays emotionally present, the child's brain is building language pathways, emotional security, and social understanding all at once. And this is not just a nice idea. Research consistently shows that children learn language best through responsive human interaction, not passive exposure. A screen can talk, a TV can make noise, an app can repeat words. But none of those can do what a real person does: pause, respond, adjust, connect, and build a live rhythm of communication. That is why so many Japanese parents still protect real interaction as brain-building time, not as something optional after the important stuff is done. So, when your child is making sounds, reaching for your attention, or looking at your face during feeding, diaper changes, or floor play, are you really responding? Or are you often physically there, but mentally still inside your phone, your to-do list, or the next thing you need to get done? 2. They protect sleep like it is sacred. This is one of the clearest differences. In Japan, bedtime is not something that shifts to suit adult convenience. It is protected. Children ages 1 to 5 in Japan typically sleep 11 to 12 hours a night. In the US, many children the same age average much closer to 9 hours. That gap matters more than most parents realize. Research from Osaka University shows that sleep is when the brain consolidates memory, strengthens neural connections, and organizes learning from the day. During deep sleep, the brain is not just resting, it is actively wiring itself. So when sleep is shortened, delayed, or inconsistent, the effects do not show up only as yawning. They show up as more emotional reactivity, weaker focus, lower frustration tolerance, more impulsive behavior, harder transitions. In other words, what looks like a behavior problem is often a tired brain. Japanese parents tend to understand that a well-rested child is easier to guide, not because they are naturally easier, but because their nervous system has what it needs to function well. So when your child falls apart over something tiny at dinner, gets wild right before bedtime, or seems impossible to settle at the end of the day, are you looking at a behavior issue? Or are you looking at a nervous system that has simply been running on too little sleep for too many nights in a row? 3. They keep screen time extremely low. This one is hard for modern parents because screens work. They're calm, they distract, they buy time. But what works in the moment isn't always helpful in the long term. In Japan, children under 3 often have little to almost no regular screen exposure, and children from 3 to 6 are often limited to around 30 minutes a day. By comparison, many young children in the US regularly spend 4 to 6 hours a day on screens, a significant difference from the Japanese norm. That difference is enormous, and it is not just about what children are watching. It is about what the brain is being repeatedly trained to do. Fast-paced screens train, quick shifting, passive intake, instant reward, shallow attention, real-life trains, waiting, observing, back-and-forth language, frustration tolerance, real-world problem-solving. MRI research from Tokyo has linked heavy early screen exposure with weaker development in white matter pathways involved in language and literacy. These are measurable brain differences, not just parenting opinions. The American Academy of Pediatrics now recommends no screen time before 18 months, with very limited use after that. And yet many families still rely on screens because they make daily life easier. Japanese parents tend to choose the harder path because they understand what screen time is replacing: conversation, movement, boredom, play, observation, and regulation. So when your child starts fussing at the table, in the stroller, in the car, or in public, and you hand over a screen because it works fast, are you just solving one difficult moment? Or are you slowly replacing the exact experiences that build language, patience, attention, and real self-regulation in everyday life? 4. They make outdoor time a daily necessity. In Japan, outdoor time is not treated like a bonus. It is part of normal life. Children are outside every day, not only when the weather is perfect, not only when adults have extra energy, and not only on playgrounds. They walk, they climb, they observe. They feel wind, sunlight, air, uneven ground, and movement. That matters for the brain. Kyoto University research shows that natural environments lower stress and support the prefrontal cortex, which is key to focus and self-control. Children who spend regular time in nature also show better emotional regulation and stronger attention. So when a child climbs, balances, notices moving leaves, or feels the texture of dirt and grass under their feet, that is not just outdoor play. That is nervous system development. That is sensory integration. That is the brain learning how to organize itself in the real world. And this is one of the biggest mindset differences. In many families, outdoor time gets squeezed out by schedules, errands, weather, or screens. In the Japanese way, outdoor time is treated more like sleep or food, something the brain actually needs. So, if you look honestly at your child's last few days, have they had real time outside to move, explore, and feel the natural world with their whole body? Or has most of life happened indoors, between screens, adult routines, and controlled environments? 5. They give children rich, hands-on sensory experiences. Strong brains are not built only through hearing information. They are built through touch, movement, exploration, real-world feedback. In many Japanese homes, children spend time every day using real materials: water, sand, clay, dough, food, garden soil, kitchen tools, and natural textures. That matters much more than many parents realize. Research from Nagoya University shows that when children manipulate real objects with their hands, multiple brain areas activate simultaneously. Sensory processing, motor coordination, and problem-solving all work together. This creates what scientists call integrated learning, and that leads to stronger, more adaptable neural networks. That is why sensory-rich play is so powerful. It is not just entertainment, it is whole brain learning. This is also why real materials beat virtual experience almost every time in early childhood. A child squeezing real dough, pouring water, or digging in dirt gets far richer brain input than a child tapping a screen version of the same idea. Japanese parents tend to understand this. They choose more real experiences and less artificial stimulation. More participation in life, less passive entertainment. So when your child wants to pour water, help in the kitchen, touch food, dig in the dirt, or make a mess while figuring something out with their hands, do you let that become part of development? Or do you shut it down because it feels slower, messier, and more inconvenient than keeping everything neat and controlled? 6. They build the foundation before pushing academics. This may be the most important difference of all. Many parents feel pressure to get ahead early. Letters, numbers, apps, flashcards, structured learning. And it feels responsible. It feels loving. It feels like you are helping your child get an advantage. But that is not what the strongest research points to. The 2024 study by Tokyo Medical University did not find that Japanese children were ahead because of early academic achievement. It found stronger attention, memory, and problem-solving because of 6 foundational daily practices. And broader developmental research has shown something similar for years. Children who spend their early years playing, moving, exploring, sleeping well, and building strong emotional connections often perform better academically later than children who are pushed into visible learning too early. Before a child needs academics, they need emotional regulation, attention, language rhythm, movement, sensory integration, frustration tolerance, curiosity, secure attachment. Those are the roots. Without those roots, early academics often fade. With those roots, later academics come more quickly and take hold more deeply. That is one of the clearest lessons in the Japanese way. Do not rush the roof before the foundation is ready. So when you start worrying that your child is falling behind, do you automatically reach for more apps, more flashcards, and more academic pressure? Or do you stop and ask whether your child's brain is first getting what the research says matters more? Sleep, movement, sensory experience, real conversation, outdoor time, and emotional connection. Maybe this is why the strongest brains are not always built in the loudest, most impressive ways. Not through doing more, not through pushing earlier, not through filling every gap with stimulation. Sometimes they are built in quieter ways. In sleep that is protected. In outdoor time, which happens every day. In very limited screen exposure. In real materials. In real conversation. In ordinary moments that do not look extraordinary at all. And maybe that is the question this leaves us with. If this is what the research keeps pointing back to, what in your family life is already helping your child's brain grow stronger? And what might be getting in the way without you even realizing it? You do not have to change everything at once, but you may only need to see one thing more clearly today than you did yesterday. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 6 habits feels strongest in your home already? And which one do you feel most ready to change first? If this video gave you a new way to think about early brain development, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and stay with me here for more science-backed parenting content that helps you build strong brains, strong connections, and a stronger foundation for your child's future. And I'd really love to hear your voice below. What stayed with you the most from this video? And what is one small action you want to start at home after watching this?